everybody.
Hello.
Oh, I forgot we were going to do that.
Yeah, it's the musical
1, 2,
episode, right?
3.
Okay.
Hello.
We're not gonna. That's it for the musical portion. I'm
We
not
will
gonna
not
do that
torture you any further.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody.
Yes, episode 15. You guys got
cool.
to experience our fun collaboration with Puppet Masters of None last episode.
A fun, wild episode.
So much fun.
It was. There were a couple of moments during that time with them where I had to remind myself, "Oh yeah, you got to talk. Like, you're not just a fan here. You're not just here taking in these guys. You're also so joined into the conversation."
Yeah.
I really did catch myself a couple times, like, "Oh, it's my turn to say something." Like I just really enjoyed listening to them.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like one of those instant friendship kind of things, because we really were only communicating, like we followed each other because we were each doing like a puppet podcast, and it's just nice to be like supportive, and then listening to their show and becoming fans, and then they reached out to us. It was so great.
I've been in entertainment almost my whole life, and there's a lot I know about it, and a lot of things that I'm very intrigued by. Podcasting is such a new world, and a very new world to me. And I'm more and more we're doing these things, and we're talking to other podcasters and that. I don't know if you've experienced this because you've been in it a lot longer than I have, but it's such a family atmosphere. It's such a even if you're not, you and this other podcast have nothing in common, you're kind of rooting for each other.
Yeah.
Which is such a wild but wonderfully wild difference in entertainment.
Very.
It's such a competitive field, no matter what the field is: modeling, writing, photography. The podcast world doesn't. I don't think any of these fields really have to be that competitive. I think if you're good at something, you'll get your shot eventually.
Absolutely.
It doesn't always happen that way, but I think more times than not it does. With this field, with this medium, I mean, you've got room for everybody. Yeah. There's a niche for everybody. Everybody's got their certain thing they like.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to touch on too.
I think that's cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
And it's nice that with all that being, there's still, hey, we're rooting for you. Hey, we're pulling for you kind of atmosphere. You don't get a lot of that in entertainment. I love that.
Me too. It's so wholesome and very refreshing as well. And like you were saying with the niche thing, something I like to say in like the writing and author community is that there's always like room on the world's bookshelf for more books. So like if you have a book inside of you, you just like write it out because somebody is going to love it and read it. And I think the same thing is for podcasts. Like there's going to be a podcast for everybody, and the goal isn't to like get millions of subscribers and stuff, even if it just makes someone's Monday when they hear it, or they like freak out when they come across it because they love puppets too. It's just nice to be supportive of other creators.
I love you so much. That's so good. But there are moments you just sit back and it's like, oh, I'm so dang proud.
I'm very humble.
No, that's good. That was good. And you're right. There is always room on that shelf.
Yeah.
That's good.
Exactly. Well, I had to come back down to earth. And also, I'm like kind of stunned it's our 15th episode.
Yeah. These have just been piling up in the most positive of ways. And I was thinking about this actually over the weekend, going into this, coming up here and everything, and then going, I don't know if there's going to be a number where it's going to like really sink in. Yeah. This feels almost like one of those things where it's going to be a while before I realize how much we've done and how fun this has been. Because in the moment, it's been a lot of fun, really enjoying it. I go back and listen to something and I'm really like, I remember that. Oh, that was a funny moment. Oh, that was good. We do a lot of these back-to-back recording. And
just with like scheduling and stuff, it works out a little easier.
Yeah, and so sometimes there's so much content that you don't have a chance to really dissect a lot later on when I'm, sitting there at night thinking about it or something. Yeah. Really do get to experience them and notice, I don't know if you felt this, when I'm listening to them, I feel like a listener. I feel like a fan. I don't feel like I don't even cringe at my own voice, which is really weird for me because I usually do. I'm not a fan of my voice, but I don't catch myself doing that with this. I just end up getting kind of caught up in like just listening.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, usually when this is kind of a behind the scenes, but since I edit the video and the audio, I usually do video first because it's more intricate. There's like more things to like edit and add and whatnot. But with the audio, it's kind of like, okay, I've heard it once, and I kind of like mentally know what spots like I might want to edit things, or usually it's just like white noise that I'm like editing out and stuff.
Well, and I actually I'm bald. Bria has to put like special
I
effects
didn't know if
on
you
it.
wanted me
This
to
is
bring that
not
up,
real. This is
but-
not.
But while I'm editing the audio, I'll have my headphones in and I'm still listening for like if there's usually not a mistake, because we're just used to talking to each other. But I'll like be punch needling or something, so I kind of get to do two things at once.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember why we started talking.
Well, just how long we've been doing this, and certainly
right.
how you listening and you become a fan.
That's
even
what
though
it
you're
was.
the creator,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah,
kind of
it
fun.
becomes kind of like relaxing to just like listen to, and I still cringe at my own voice, but that's fine. I think it's very human too.
I think I've been numbed to that a little bit
That's
after
fair.
22 years in radio.
Yeah.
I've had to kind of like, you gotta get over this.
Yeah.
But I definitely cringe.
Yes.
Every here and there especially. All right.
Well, would you like to pick out our Muppet
Let's
Fact
see if we
Section?
get even here.
Yeah.
Let's-
I'm rooting for it. Even.
Even. And it's a fact. We're even. In 1996, Kermit the Frog received an honorary Doctorate of Amphibious Letters from Southampton College in New York. After receiving this, he gave a commencement speech for the 1996 graduating class. So, in all technical terms, he is Dr. Kermit the Frog.
Oh my gosh. First off, that graduating class is so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only ones that get to say that. You'll never forget
You're
that
so right.
speech.
Yeah, there's a lot of like great commencement speeches over the years. That's got to be like top
Oh
one,
my
like
gosh.
top 1, top 3 at least. Former presidents, celebrities, Tom Hanks. It doesn't matter. Top
Kermit
3.
the Frog.
Yeah, right there at the top.
Before we dissect this, I have to ask if you could pick a Muppet to give your graduating commencement speech. Who would it be?
Ooh, wow. Well, I graduated in '96, so I found that interesting that it was that graduated. I graduated high school in '96, so I wasn't college, but I'm buying time. So honestly, the first I don't know if I've ever answered this to a Muppet question before. I think my first answer was Miss Piggy.
Oh, I mean, she has like a boss, get it, power.
I forget that sometimes with her.
Yeah.
But for all the diva and it's about me-ism, Miss Piggy is a motivator. She really is a team player when you strip all that stuff away and really wanting you to feel like she does. And I love that quality in people. Robert Downey Jr. has that in tons, in droves, where he feels good, he's confident. But what matters almost, I think, more to the guy, it seems, to me at least, is you feeling that way. He wants you to feel the same way.
I remember us having a conversation about that. Yeah.
I get a little of that with her. And I never thought about that before.
Absolutely.
So-
She really is a go-getter, though. I think it's in like the remake Muppet movie where they're trying to get the gang back together and Miss Piggy is like the last missing piece and they go to Paris, I believe. Yeah, I think it's Paris, and she's like a fashion CEO. So like she made something of herself, and she always does.
Honorable mentions. I always do this, and we're gonna pull his name, and I'm finally gonna remember it afterwards. But the fish guy, the fish guy.
Lizu.
Yeah.
Or Lee Zealand?
Yeah, something.
Lou Zealand? Lou Zealand.
Lou Zealand.
That's what it is.
I don't think it'd be a great speech, but I think it'd be fun.
You're getting fish thrown at you for sure.
And hurt your freaky burger. Hurt your freaky burger.
We almost had our first Muppet spit take.
I was waiting. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it to you, but I had to.
Just ruin our equipment and everything.
So
worth it.
I think the Swedish Chef would do a good job.
Is he doing a demonstration?
I guess I like the idea of him actually cooking while he's up there in the robes and everything.
In his robes.
He goes up there thinking this is a metaphor, you know, but nobody can understand it.
Right, they're all just, what is going on?
How about you? Who do you think?
I think for me it would be Gonzo because he has that like characteristic of being yourself, and I think you really need that reminder after you've just spent years of schooling and kind of your identity is wrapped around school of like going back to the roots of being yourself when you're kind of ushered back into the world.
I'd be lying if I said that Gonzo isn't the first name that pops in my head from almost any Muppet question you ask. So I was trying to go a little bit off the board. I love that you went there.
Yeah.
As you were saying that too, I thought one of the things you probably get with that is Gonzo, and seize the day, and he wraps up his speech, and then like it's quiet, and then all of a sudden you hear a cannon being pulled out, and he gets shot through the cannon, like that's his big send off, like that'd be pretty cool.
Right, he ends on this inspirational note, and then he says, "Light it up!"
yeah.
Cannon. Yeah, very memorable.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, those are all good ones.
Yeah,
I like those.
How cool is it that this college I wonder what sparked them to want to do that
Jim Henson was a New Yorker, I believe, right?
I think I know
I know there was a lot of connection to New York, obviously, with SNL and
at least like in the New England area, because
Mm-hmm.
I think he went to college in Massachusetts.
Yes.
Maryland,
yeah. So I mean, there's a reach here, but I think there's a connection there, and also it's almost more fitting now that there is no connection, because there's so many times where, and so has an honorary doctorate from Yale. Like, well, what's their connection to Yale? Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
I'm almost positive Snoop Dogg has some kind of like a doctorate or bachelor from somewhere that he did not go to. They do that all the time. So
right. Maybe this college's like PR team's like, we need some more people coming to our college. The Muppets are really in right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's give Kermit an honorary.
Give him a doctorate in puppeteering. I don't know, in felt. Here's your bachelor's in felt. I don't know why a deed would sound like that, but it's my go-to.
He's got to do.
It's my go-to one.
What a fun fact.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
Well, I get the responsibility. Ooh, it's so exciting.
Number 15. Well, 14, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Who is it? Oh my gosh, this is going to be a chaotic, wonderful episode. We've got Dr. Teeth in the house.
Oh, Dr. Teeth.
We almost have all of the members of the band. We're just missing Floyd and Janice.
Yeah. Janice is going to be a fun one, too.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into that.
It's interesting how that worked.
Yeah.
Good call, good catch.
I'm really glad I started watching the Mayhem show before we pulled like more band members, because it really gives some more background on them. But oh my gosh, how exciting!
So I think, and I just want to remind myself here a little bit. Yep. Okay. So with Dr. Teeth, first of all, a Muppet movie, the original Muppet movie, we get first introduced to these characters. And with another one of my favorite characters, actually, he's sitting next to the explosions guy.
Harry.
Yeah. I love that. With Dr. Teeth, again, a little feel of some George Clinton there, a little like a Parliament, a little bit of that, and the acts of the 70s, your David Bowies, your Todd Rundgrens, Elton John's, a little of that kind of feel to him, while also being a showman. And I'm the leader of a band. Like you know, even in that opening scene, you've never heard of the Muppets, the Mayhem, Electric Mayhem Band, none of that stuff or anything. But even in that opening movie, in that opening scene with them in the crowd, you get that's a guy who's in a band. Yeah. Like you get that vibe right away. They were so good at that. We talked about that with Scooter in the last episode, where you see Scooter and you kind of already know, well, he's in charge of something. Yeah. You know, they were really good at doing that.
Yeah, I have such a soft spot for some of like Jim Henson's like characters too. Like this was like one that Jim Henson voiced, like him, Kermit, and it's so crazy how like versatile his voice acting was, and also to believe that he wasn't like entirely into like, he just wanted to be on TV, and just to know that this stuff was inside of him. And he said if he was like got a weatherman job, he would have been a weatherman, and like would he have ever used those voices then? And he just had all of this creative qualities living inside of him. But anyway, back on track.
Well, real quick, I do think that's a good note about Jim, because I know how famous he is. I know how legendary he is, and there's certain people like that in history where, with all that being said, I still feel like we almost underrate them. I feel like we almost still don't give them enough credit, because you think of Jim Henson, you think of puppets right away, and it kind of stops there. But this was a great, like, had a great
He's
stand-up
a
comedy
visionary.
writing.
Yeah.
He had a great voice skill, talent, like voice acting wise. Like there were other things that he excelled at, was very good at,
Yeah.
that he could just as easily have been known for. He could have been another Frank Oz in some ways. Maybe not on that level, but somewhere near that level.
Absolutely.
He could have been a good stand-up comedian, I believe. There's Anistique, Jeff Dunham.
yeah.
You know, there's plenty of comedians over the years that have done puppeteering, but they're kind of stand-up comedy. I could have seen him going a lot of these angles. Although, if he had done that, he'd have been the originator of it, I'm sure, and you know, kind of was the originator of it in some ways. And a guy who, I think that if you don't know Jim Henson, you think of puppeting, and you think, oh, well, he was probably shy. No, Jim Henson was not a shy. If he was, it never came across. It didn't seem that way.
I think it's just that like extreme humble quality in him that is always on the surface. But he's a very confident, or at least like just in his interviews and stuff. Like,
I don't mean to always go back to it or anything, but I encourage, you know, if you hadn't seen it, go back and watch him on the Tonight Show. And now we don't have an equivalent of this nowadays, where there was that one show that if you were on, you knew you made it.
Yeah.
If you made Johnny laugh, anybody can make Ed McMahon laugh, and that's not a shot at Ed McMahon. It's just it was part of who he was. But if you could make Johnny Carson laugh, and even more so get brought back, you knew you made it.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, and you go back and you watch that, and Johnny Carson, like of all people, is almost like
he forgets that he's like talking to a Muppet,
and he is kind of shy. Like he takes a step back. It's kind of like in his own, and you don't see Johnny like that very often. And Jim Henson did. Jim's completely fine in that whole entire time.
Yeah, he's just super calm.
Just like, hey, this is what I do. Like, whereas Johnny's almost a little like awkward, uncomfortable, and everything. Like it speaks a lot to who he was, and again, one of those people. I think of him, and I think of a number of artists that are just kind of like, I don't know if we almost underrate them.
Yeah.
You know, as big as they are, you could almost make them bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it shows with a character like Dr. Teeth.
Yeah.
And you get the full encompass of it when you realize he did the voice of the character along with creation and all that.
Yeah. Dr. Teeth is just such a fun, like, he's a really fun character, but also just like puppet-wise. Because he's also one of the puppets that does have like the human hands like in the puppet thing, because he's, you know, doing the piano and stuff, kind of like Ralph. And his attire is just like chef's kiss. It's amazing, so eccentric and fun, and it also looks really comfortable.
Yes, and cool.
Yeah,
like you would. It seems like if you were going to be a Muppet for Halloween, that would be one of the cooler ones to be.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so much
that'd
fun.
Be a fun one.
Just the hat alone would be so much fun.
One of the things too that always stands out to me with these characters, and especially getting to dissect them with you, and you know, a couple times a week or once a week, is the appreciation for how important, no matter was Muppet Babies, Muppet Takes Manhattan, Muppet this, anything. One of the overall themes almost every time is be you.
Yeah.
It's okay to be you. It's all right to be an individual. It's all right to, along with that, using your imagination.
Yes.
That your imagination, every one of us has a superpower, and it is our imagination, and embracing that. Dr. Teeth is an encompass of that, I think.
Yeah.
Whether he ever talks about it or not, he's such a full kind of like essence of that.
Yeah, especially after watching the Mayhem show, I think he can clock when someone's not being themselves. So I could see him being like, just be yourself. Be yourself and we don't have a problem.
When you mentioned you watched it, I didn't get to see a whole lot, but I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes of it, and I get what you mean.
It's cute.
I haven't thought, oh yeah, it is.
I haven't
it's a lot of
finished
fun.
it yet either, but it has become cozy to watch.
I've really been impressed with, again, not to go down another side path, but with the modernizing that they've tried to do with the Muppets, and that they, to me at least, I think they pulled it off. I think they've done a really good job with it. That TV show they had, that I don't know how well it did. I think it got canceled, but they had that show on CBS or ABC or something like that for a little while, and I thought that was a good attempt. It doesn't have to be the original. It doesn't have to be as good as whatever your favorite Muppet episode was or favorite movie was or anything.
I think it's almost set up to fail if you are trying to make it like
Absolutely, yeah. I think one of the things that is important to remember with stuff like this is it's not always about you. It's about sometimes our kids liking it, or the next generation and getting something from it and everything, and reminding yourself of that at times, that okay, you know, it's cool that I'm enjoying it and I'm getting some nostalgia here, but it ain't about me. I'm old. The Muppets are for the, not to say that we obviously can't enjoy and love them and everything and create podcasts about them, but it always has to come back to the youth. It has to come back to kids and helping kids become best friends with their imagination.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Disney itself does well with creating new Disney movies, because the technology itself is just getting better with animation, but they still do that catering to like the older parents that they know grew up with Disney and are watching it now, and also the new kids that are getting ushered into like new Disney movies and stuff. So, yeah, well, how would you describe Dr. Teeth's personality?
If your closet sneezed, and whatever's on the floor, that's what you're putting on. Yeah.
He's like, well, this is what I'm wearing today.
Whoa!
No.
That was great.
No.
Oh no, that you marked that, everybody.
You're too kind.
That was a good die. Didn't even know you had you.
Oh,
that
thank you.
Good Dr.
We all
Teeth
have a
impression.
little Dr. Teeth in us.
That's a good one. That was good. Yeah, I think that's the first thing that pops in my head.
Yeah.
How would you describe him?
I think he's just like such a creative, that's the first thing I think of, is because he just wants to create stuff, like create music, and I think he's you know how there's like that cliche live, laugh, love thing that's like in houses and stuff. I think he has a really big emphasis on love.
Also seems like the kind of guy, he's running late for rehearsal and I gotta put something new on, and looks in the closet, this is clean, and throws it up. Like
he's a little unorganized.
Maybe I've got that opposite. Maybe he's somebody who really puts a lot of time into his stage presence and everything, but his everyday life, I feel like very, kind of like just a guy who just wearing what's clean.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of person that's go with the flow. I think he embraces
On
that.
stage, it's probably different. Stage puts a lot of, a bit of time into his stage wardrobe and everything. But I think in his day-to-day, just kind of, it is.
Yeah. Well, let's put Dr. Teeth in a scenario.
We should, real quick, mention, his name is Dr. Teeth. We should probably mention the gold tooth. That's, I believe he's the only character that has that.
I think so, yeah.
And now it's gotten a little more popularized and modernized from, late 80s and on. But at the time that he was created, it was a little more unique. It was a little more, you didn't have a lot of that.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of those details. I had that wrong. You see detail in all the Muppet characters, but certain characters have individual things that you don't see in any other Muppet.
He has a lot of accessories, and
And you don't see a lot of teeth with Muppets.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of Muppet characters that have teeth. That he does is kind of like, well, why does he have teeth and none of these other characters? How do these people eat? How do they? It's kind of cool when you see that in certain characters. Some characters, they'll have glasses and some don't, and that kind of thing. I think that's one of the things that stands out about him. When we're talking about his appearance, we have to mention him.
Right, yeah. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to ruin anything for you in like the Electric Mayhem show, but they do get into his background of like Dr. Teeth.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like that they did a deep dive on some of these characters and everything. It just made them even more alive and dimensional.
I love the idea of him being like some great dentist and just one day just being like, you know what? I want to play music. it just like drops everything.
I'm not gonna say anything, but it kind of sounds like you were in the writer's room.
That's awesome.
We'll leave it at that because I don't want to spoil it.
And now I'm really gonna watch that though. Now I'm really gonna go watch that. Great character. Oh,
yes,
I'm so glad he
amazing. Let's put him in a scenario.
Yeah. Okay. So,
you get him. This Muppet Fact. I'm really excited. He's such a fun character.
Oh, we got a good one.
Oh,
they're all good, but this is.
Yeah.
What kind of birthday gift could you expect to receive from this Muppet?
Oh, jeez.
Drugs.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Are you though?
There's a little truth in that.
Depends what state you're in.
Right. Yes. I think that's just easily because he's a musician. I just went there with it because it's easy, kind of low hanging fruit. But I do think, the piggybacking on that, I do think that the gift would be heartfelt and meaningful, but probably last second. Probably like, what do I got around here?
Yeah.
This kind of thing. Like, and you know he cares.
Yeah,
he thought about getting you something.
Right, you probably wouldn't have guessed it maybe that was last minute. But last minute is where my mind went to.
Okay.
But I think instead of physical, I went to a more of like, okay, last minute, what am I going to get them? But he thinks of an experience where he's like, I'm going to take you somewhere.
Oh,
and he like brings you somewhere. Or you're going on a road trip you didn't expect to go on, you are not packed or anything. He's like, we'll figure it out on the way.
Oh, that's
He
awesome.
just grabs you and takes off.
I have always wanted somebody to do that to me. And
Really?
I think that would be really cool. I think that would be a great gift. I never even thought of that as a gift. That's good. Where I thought you were going, he also seems the type that didn't think of something, doesn't have any money, and I'll make you some. Or I wrote you this song. Or I drew you a painting.
That's
or
a
something.
good one,
He
writing
does-
a song for somebody.
He does feel like that kind of gift
Yeah,
giver, which is
definitely.
one of the best kind of gift givers.
I agree.
You are one of them.
I
So,
love Thank you.
I love, and I think most people, if you really ask them, they'd take a personal made gift over anything.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be really cool to have him write a song for you, though.
Yeah.
That's something I would never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a really good question.
The other part of that, there was something else about that I was thinking too. So reversing this, you're going to his birthday.
Ooh.
I don't want to pull a question that we haven't gotten to yet, though. Is that one that comes up, or?
I honestly don't.
Okay, I didn't
I'm
think
sure
so.
it's not, but I don't remember.
We'll keep rolling. Now, getting him a gift.
That's a good question.
Boy, I feel like that'd be tough.
It would be tough. Yeah. I feel like maybe, so I don't know how to do this, but if I did, I would knit him like a scarf, like a new scarf or something.
Oh, that's a good one. Love that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Or maybe I would punch needle him a rug for like his room or something.
Tooth cleaner.
Ooh, yeah.
Little shine the tooth.
There you go. Yeah.
I think like I would definitely go to a thrift shop.
Ooh, yeah.
To find like some kind of like a shirt
You'd
or
find it there.
a jacket or something for him for stage. I think that would be fun. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I think something like that would be where I'd go with it.
That's a good question.
I know that even as a creative, one of the things that when it comes to creating gifts for people, that I put it like the expectations are so much different when I'm like making something for you as like my mom. Like I make something for my mom, she's gonna love it more times than not, even if she is my biggest critic.
They're moms. Yeah.
With making something for another creative person, like the stakes are so much higher. And so like making him a gift, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not gonna write him a song. Like,
right, no, I'm not gonna write him a song.
No. But he can do it for me.
Yeah, it would be fun to make him like a psychedelic looking like punch rug.
Yeah,
That would be really
that would
fun.
be nice. Oh, that'd be a cool looking rug, I bet.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was a good follow-up question. I liked that. Oh, man.
Yeah, I almost don't want to do it yet.
Maybe before we pull, we could talk about like Dr. Teeth moments that we like or something.
Yes, yeah, I like when you do that.
Yeah.
That's a, now you talk about follow-up questions, that's a good one.
I just don't want it to end because he's such a fun character.
There's so many side characters that have this, so it's hard to highlight him with it, but he is one of the ones that stands out to me when I think of those just side moments. I don't even remember the line, but he'll have a line and I'll laugh. And I almost, one of those ones when the camera goes to them, I know I'm gonna laugh at this. I know something funny's about to happen. And he's usually interacting with another character. In fact, always is interacting with another character. I don't think if you ever see him by himself really talking or doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
So whatever bandmate he's talking to or interacting with, I just know that either him or he's setting someone up for a punchline, and I'm gonna laugh.
That's really interesting that you say that because I never really realized that. I think I don't know if like I imagine him by himself a lot. Maybe he doesn't like to be alone.
He's not a solo artist. He's in a band.
Yeah,
so maybe,
very true. Yeah.
I also think of him as again a good bandmate, a good teammate. Like a lot, like all the Muppets really. Even Miss Piggy, like we were talking about before, has her tendencies where she's a team player.
Yeah.
He seems like one of those real like. All right, guys, we got this gig here. Well, let's get them all. Let's leave it all on the stage, kind of thing. And really gives it his all, and wants everybody to feel like a part of that.
Yeah. Okay, I just thought of something because I don't remember what episode it was, but we had a Jim Henson quote. I think it might have been one of our first quotes that was, how did it go? It was like, if you want to get the best from like everybody, like let everyone pour in like their own creativeness to it. And Jim Henson voiced Dr. Teeth, and sometimes, I know as writers, we pour a lot of ourselves into certain characters, and sometimes like who we want to be. So like, what if this is a side of Jim Henson that like, that he like wanted to be?
I think that's really good. I think that's really insightful. I wouldn't be
maybe like not true or anything, but just interesting to think about.
It's almost hard to imagine that it isn't a little truth. Not to say that Jim Henson always wanted to be exactly Dr. T.
Right. Yeah.
I think just as much of that is almost all these characters that he created. You're seeing little pieces of him.
Yeah.
So maybe there was a part of him that always wanted to be in a band, or there was a part of him that always wanted to wear funky clothes.
Yeah, you stole the words out of my mouth. That's what I was trying to convey.
There's some part of him in that character that I forget that sometimes. I forget about the man, the person behind the Muppet sometimes. Not just him, but you know, one of the great things about talking with the guys at Puppet Masters None, be sure to like and subscribe to their page. Talking with them and okay, these are the people behind these characters. You know, we fall in love with the characters, but we really truly owe an appreciation to the people bringing these things to life.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is really interesting to think about. I think, I guess I don't know if it's like Dr. Teeth-centered moment, more of like an Electric Mayhem moment in Muppets Take Manhattan, where they're like all at the motel or hotel, and they realize that they can't pay to like spend the night, so the like inn owner's like, well, you can either like pay in the morning, or you like wake up halfway through the night and you bail or something, and they choose to like leave. Yeah,
that's a great scene. That's a good one. Good stuff.
All right.
I guess.
Okay.
The final one.
Dr. Teeth, would you, Dr. Teeth?
Would you?
Okay. Would you be theme park buddies with this Muppet for a day?
I'm not a theme park guy. I would be if he asked me to go.
Yeah.
If Dr. Teeth asked me to go, I'm already in the van. I'm already in the bus. I'm already ready to go.
I feel like that's as soon as you agree to that, it's like a yes day without even meaning to. Because I think that he could like persuade you into doing almost anything.
Oh yeah. You're going to do that, and on the way there, you're like, hey, there's the Thimble Museum. Let's go check that out. Like you're just side mission, like just all over the place.
You're having a lot of side missions throughout the day.
I think you're stopping to eat a lot too. You're stopping to do this a lot. You're stopping to do that.
Foodie, actually.
I love this. So one of the things that I'm not big about theme parks is you got to stand in line for so long. It seems like.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've been to like here in Wisconsin,
the Dove,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've been to those, but I've never like been to Six Flags or Disneyland or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going off of basically from what I've seen and I heard people talk about. And, long lines is one of those ones.
Yeah, that's a con.
So to me, if I was ever going to go to any one of those things, I'd want to go with somebody that I don't mind being in line with. I think that'd be a key part of it. Like, okay, well, at least I won't be bored, or at least I have somebody to talk to. My goodness, Dr. Teeth to stand in line with? Man, I didn't care about the ride. We'll get there when we get there. What's up with you, man? Let's talk to you. I think that would be a really fun one.
That would be really fun. The only thing I can see is like trying to tell him like you have to take your like hat and your everything off. You're gonna lose it on the ride, and he's like, no man, this completes my outfit. He doesn't want to take anything
this
off.
Hat literally doesn't come off. I can see that.
That was a good impression.
I could actually see like you stand in line for an hour, get there, and he won't take the hat off.
He's like, no way, man.
You're gonna leave it. You didn't even get on the ride.
He's like, come on.
That's good. I like that.
So are you a water park person over like theme park then?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I feel like you're either like a theme park or a water park person.
Never thought of it, but you're absolutely right. It is a Beatles Stones question. Are you a Beatles guy or a Rolling Stones person? Or that kind of thing. Yeah, I never thought of it, but yes,
my
definitely
sister
a
Kayla is a water park person too. I'm more of a theme park person. When I was growing up, as I've gotten older, I've gotten some like structural anxiety. So I still like a roller coaster, but I need to like ask the person.
Yeah.
Is it safe?
Oh, I don't blame you then.
I have like a fun story about that as like in Dr. Teeth fashion, a side mission. I don't think I've told this story before on the podcast, but I was at Mall of America with my sisters and my mom, and I'm like 19 or 18 at this point, and it's glow-in-the-dark night. So it's really fun. We all have like glow-in-the-dark sticks, and the whole like little theme park inside this mall is Nickelodeon themed.
Ooh.
So all of the rides are like Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And we're in line for the SpongeBob ride where it literally is a straight shot up and straight shot down. And it goes all the way up where you can see your reflection in the skylight of this incredibly huge building. Yeah, it's super like scary tall. But we really wanted to go on it. So we're in the first cart. So we're like sitting, like the guy controlling the ride is like this far away from us. And people are getting on. So I like lean over and I'm like, hey, like this ride is like totally safe, right? And he's kind of a younger guy too. So he looks at me and he was like, can I have your glow in the dark necklace? And I was like, no, like it's my necklace. Yeah. Right, like I earned this. And so he looks and he sees that everyone's in and everyone's buckled in. He says the ride's not safe. And he pushes the button and we go. Because I wouldn't give him my necklace.
What a jerk. Oh.
I know.
What the what? Oh, man.
So I was like, oh my gosh, first, I can't believe that happened. Second, like, I'm sure the ride is safe. But it's just nice to get reassurance. But that's kind of like a funny story.
Be a good theme park host. Be a good rider.
If you see someone with their pupils dilated, just reassure them that the ride is safe.
It goes a long way.
That's
I guarantee you though that person wasn't doing that job much longer. You can't treat people that way. That's not gonna.
Yeah, once we came back around, I was like, hey, and he's like, hey, you made it, didn't you? Like, did you die? No, you didn't.
Such an interesting question to ask a living person.
But did you die?
Well,
no, you're fine.
I suppose not.
But with that being said, I would also go to a theme park with Dr. Teeth. It'd be very fun.
What would there be a ride that you'd like to ride with him? Is there
okay, if he agrees to like take his accessories off that might fly off, there's a ride at Six Flags. I don't remember what it's called, but you get in and it's kind of like a chair thing, so you're strapped in, and it's like a circle. So you're all sitting around the circle, like facing out, looking at everything, and then it goes up and up and up and up and up. Super, super tall, and then you don't know when it's gonna drop. So one of those. I just think it would be like so, like he would help you alleviate like the anxiety of it, but he'd also be like freaking out, enjoying it. He'd be like, oh, this is so much fun. I think it would be
That's a great answer. I think bumper cars would be fun.
Oh God!
In part, seeing him get hit in the head and all that movie.
Yeah.
But I also think like
I think he'd get into it.
Yeah, most people with bumper cars it's usually really aggressive and everything.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of nice to have a mellow guy let's have some fun.
Just having a joyride.
But I think if I had to choose, I would choose like, and I've never actually done the ride itself, but just seeing it, like the teacups. I don't know why.
All these like mellow.
Yeah, it feels like that'd be his gig. Like it'd be like you wanna like, hey, Dr. Teeth, let's go on this and this and this. He's like, what about the teacups? Like, all right, I guess we're going with the teacups. He just wants to do something mellow.
I love that. Actually, I can see him on the teacups now. Yeah. Maybe because he gets to keep his accessories.
He would probably be all right with that. Yeah, they'd be like, here you go right ahead.
Exactly.
You're good.
I love that. Both spectrums of theme parks. That's amazing. Well,
an amazing character.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Teeth, thank you for providing us with such a fun episode. That was really fun.
Appreciate this one a lot. That was a lot of fun. That was a good one. And appreciate all of you so much.
Yes, thank you for listening and watching, as always. You guys have become such a deep part of like our hearts with this whole project, and it's just so fun knowing you guys are on the other side and we're talking to you and everything, and it's just a lot of fun. It's
meaningful and memorable for us, but it makes it all the more, impactful and a family atmosphere, knowing all you guys are just the same boat we are.
Impactful is a good word for it. Yeah, so thank you so much. And if you want to support the podcast further, you can subscribe and follow us on What the Muppet Pod on Instagram and YouTube. And if you have any fun Dr. Teeth moments or quotes, you can always email us at, or I have it in the description, I can't remember it offhand. But yeah.
like and subscribe and follow along forever. I'm sorry. It sounded like you said if you want to like and subscribe forever. It sounded a little like
really?
you said forever. I know you're trying to say, no, I know that's not what you meant, what you were saying.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of forever.
Forever.
Like the paint.
And
I just wanted to like it for a little bit.
Right, we just lost some followers.
Come back. I'm just kidding.
They didn't mean it. No, but thank you so much, and yeah, we'll catch you again next episode.
Yeah, we'll see you next. We'll talk with you next Monday, everybody.
Bye.